Internet came as a boon. It connected people. The world converged. It became a knowledge bank. The world changed. Then it really started to change. Porn became publicly available for everyone. But one thing is true, the internet has injected itself. Are we virtual slaves?
Are we virtual slaves? I'm Ishan Arif and we're here live on Point Blank. We have some big guns here today. I'd like to introduce first of all Mr. Shubhata Roy. He's a senior journalist. And we also have Mr. Amit Singh Thakur. He's Vice President of the IT Wing. And Mr. Jayaprakash Paradkar. He's a senior social activist. And we have Dr. Himani as well, who's a psychiatrist. So let's begin. First, we just watched a small video about a case study.
A blood-soaked bed, evidence of the gory end that 67-year-old Shantabai Patil came to at the hands of this young man. Abhishek Patil, Shantabai's 21-year-old grandson and a second-year engineering student, used a stone pestle to smash in Shantabai's head, leading to her death. The reason for the cold-blooded crime? His grandmother, Abhishek, confessed, refused to let him watch porn and horror films on his computer. He also told police that he was angry because he had to share a room with his brother Viren after his grandmother recently moved into the family's home in Kolhapur.
Dr. Himani, I'd like this first question to be to you. What do you think? Has it really gone that bad? And what do you think is the reason behind that?
Actually, regarding such cases, I would like to say that I don't think only internet addiction or that medium is causing these problems, because in cases of such extreme acts as murdering somebody, I think some other personality traits are also accountable.
So you are saying the internet is not only the reason for that?
Not the only reason. Of course, it is one of the factors. Yeah.
Right. And Jayaprakash, what do you have to say about that? Do you think it's...
I am against this because, internet has got so many things to give, basically. Basically, you should, I feel that the children are alone nowadays and they don't know how to react to the problems, or they don't have anybody to share with, and that has causing these extreme acts.
Right. And so, since you're a journalist, you're a media person, have you come across such cases before? Or is this the first time you're hearing about it?
No, I believe that media per se is, in India especially, is quite demoralizing. In that sense, if you compare it with internet as such, internet is a medium where you can choose what you want to read. So the person who is looking for information, a particular kind of information, he has the power to choose what he wants to choose. But in the case of general media, whatever is thrown at you, you have to see that. And my observation is that media in general is very demoralizing. So I can understand such events happening after knowing a child watching a film or reading a newspaper or finding ways of doing crime. But I don't believe that it is through the internet that a person would commit such kind of crimes.
Right, you think so there might be other factors, for example movies or even the music for that matter.
Yeah, very much.
Mr. Amit, what do you have to say about this? Do you think you agree with Mr. Shubhata saying that the internet can't be the only reason for such acts?
100%. Because primarily we need to understand that, as Mr. Shubhata rightly said, that internet does provide you answers. There are different content available on the internet, but it is up to us, and it is up to us educating our children what to watch and what not to watch, or what to look at. unless and until we go to that level, we interact with our children, and we portray this value that okay, whatever you're doing, whatever you're watching is not perhaps right. So these things perhaps will take place.
And on the other hand, do you think we have become virtual slaves? Like we can't live without the internet now?
If you're asking me, I think we are slaves of many things. Apart from the internet, we have to look at within ourselves. What are we slaves of? We are all consumers to the extent that we have gone crazy. So, consumerism is the root cause of our slavery to many things, not only the internet. It is one of the things.
Also, on a lighter note, since you are in the industry, how many hours do you spend on the internet?
Frankly speaking, more than 40 hours a week.
More than 40 hours a week. And does it have a toll on you by the end?
It does not, because it's ultimately depending on yourself. I mean, how you balance things out.
Okay.
There are certain things that you do even on the internet which makes you feel better. I mean, 1 hour on Facebook, maybe perhaps making me feel that okay, I'm connecting to different people. But at the same time, going through work, it definitely takes a toll. But yeah, it's ultimately up to you.
And Dr. Mani, do you think spending too much time on the internet, do you think that causes social isolation or something?
Yeah, beyond a certain level, like per week, anything between 40 to 80 hours can be considered addictive. So, of course, like we have to search the reasons also. If it is work related, then of course it can't be called an addiction as such. But if for other reasons besides work, then I think anything between 40 to 80 hours and beyond, it can be considered as an addiction.
Right. And so what do you think, for example?
I feel that this is an emptiness in the child. It's diverting him to internet.
Like for example, so now you must have print media. Do you think at some point that's going to go away? People won't read books or any physical activity won't be there probably in a few more years since the internet is growing and technology is growing.
No, actually, then the electronic media was opened up, electronic medium, because that time it was only television. So when electronic medium was opened up, especially the leading papers like Times of India, where I worked for several years, they also thought that now it's time for us to change the black and white look and very little interactivity. That had to change. And they started doing all different kinds of experiments to make the newspaper more attractive. But you will be surprised to know that while in the United States and UK and many other European countries, the newspaper consumption went down. In India, the newspaper consumption had gone much beyond expectations, primarily because the vernacular press increased in number. The number of people reading vernacular medium newspapers increased.
On that note, there is of course Wikipedia as in a lot of languages, and they're doing a lot to increase the Indian language pages as well. So, what would you say about that? Then, do you think the vernacular press it would affect it obviously? So, do you think there will be a time where people don't have to go and get a newspaper or stop reading, just go online and read it?
See, barring a few exceptions, newspapers especially is a very reliable medium. In contrast to Wikipedia, you can't really rely on them because it's always being edited and updated every moment, and you can edit it yourself. So the reliability of what you are learning, what you are actually coming to know, is very poor when it comes to websites like Wikipedia. There are very reliable websites like Indian Institute of Science has got a website which has recorded manuscripts of different languages where you can do your research. These are reliable sources. So one has to be careful about from what source you are taking information.
Again, I'm talking to you. Since you work on the internet, let's say you said 40 hours a day. On a more personal level, if you're at home, do you spend any time on the internet? How long do you think?
Yeah, pretty much, because primarily Because of the last recession that hit, most of the IT companies are going virtual now. Most of the meetings happen virtual. So you have to be on the internet. There are a lot of content available on the internet which you need to go through so as to service your clients. So you need to do those things, and it is not only when it comes to when you are in the office, it also gets carried away at our home as well. You have to do that. There is no other
It's time for another short break. We keep the discussion going. In the next segment, we'll be talking about laws. Should there be a law restricting children to view certain content on the internet? We'll see you on the other side of the break.